So this is my entire Sega Mega Drive collection, and in today's show we're going to be checking out what I've collected so far. My name is Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at my entire Mega Drive collection. I'm very excited for this. I love the Mega Drive collection. If you follow the channel, you may have guessed that already. So what we're not going to do today is just go through every single game and go, here's a game, here's a game. We're going to be looking at things like top 5 most expensive games, top 5 games that I got most nostalgia for, trilogies that I have, and sub-collections within the collection that I've got so far. We'll also look at peripherals and hardware as well, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Now, if you're new to the channel, then why not consider subscribing? You can do this by clicking on a little button just below the video here. And if you're already subscribed, then please consider sharing this around to anyone that you think may like this video. It helps the channel grow, and if it can grow, I can do more with the channel. Right, let's get on with the collection.
Hey, you. NASA.
Give me the Cyber Razor Cut.
Now we're going to start off with hardware and peripherals, and as I was setting this all up, I just thought to myself, imagine my 12-year-old self coming down at Christmas time and finding this underneath the tree. I think my mind would have just been blown. Be super spoiled as well. So to start off, we've got some loose stuff. Now, mostly when it comes to collecting, especially for my Sega Mega Drive, but for most of my games, I like them to come in box, not necessarily complete. But for the Mega Drive set, I'm doing something quite special, something I've never really done before, and I am going for complete in-box stuff. But I'm hoping in the future that I can rectify that and get these in their original boxes as well. I'd just love to have that kind of piece of history in the games room here. So what have we got? Well, on the loose stuff, we've got quite a few joypads here. We've got like a Mega Drive 2 joypad there. I've got 2 of these Mega Fire joypads here, so there's those 2 there. We have some SG Pro Pad 2. I loved these joypads back in the day. Absolutely amazing. Kind of, they said programmable, I guess-ish, they're programmable, but these 2 joypads were awesome. The only other joypad that I'd love to get that I have a huge amount of nostalgia for was like this Dragon joypad. It came like in an orange box. Love to get my hands on one of those. And then we've got the ASCII-ware joystick. I love this joystick, had it back in the day. Absolutely fantastic, really nice to control, really weighty. Feels like it's made out of steel or metal, but it's actually a plastic. Really nice joypad. Right, onto the box stuff. Now, I have a huge amount of nostalgia for this next thing, and it's nothing major, and you may look at it and go, really? But I've been trying for years to get my hands on these. Boxed extension cables. I had one of these when I was a kid, and I just like, when I saw it again and that people were selling them, I was like, I need to get one. I loved this back in the day. It was so awesome having a really long extension cable and being able to play my Mega Drive game. So fortunately enough, I picked up 2 of these in a deal, and they pretty much cost me nothing. Next up, we've got the Master System Power Converter. This is complete in box and pretty minty. Really happy with this. And the Mega Drive looks so awesome with this on top. The 32-bit attachment for the Sega Mega Drive, the 32X, the ill-fated 32X. I've got a huge amount of nostalgia for this peripheral, this extra for the Sega Mega Drive. I loved it. Now, I had a 3DO, I think, at the point that this came out, but I still picked this up. Loved playing Doom on it. I think Metalhead, the one with the robots, really enjoyed that. And there's a couple of other games. Star Wars, oh my god, I love Star Wars. So, huge amount of nostalgia for this console. Again, this one is now finally complete in box. There were a couple of things missing, like a bit of card and a plastic separator, but now finally complete in box and in really, really good condition. We'll cover this in Collector's Edition, which is coming up. It's the next show, I think. But this is the Arcade Power Stick. I always wanted one of these as a kid. Now I've got one in pretty much mint condition and complete as well. Really happy with this, and so awesome to use it. I didn't realize how great a joystick this was. This is a complete in-box Lethal Enforcer, so it's got the game in here, the gun and all the manuals. Bit of damage to the box over here, but otherwise in pretty good condition. Kind of half peripheral, half game. Picked up 2 modern controllers as well, the Retrobit controllers. They're wireless. Really enjoy playing with these, and I picked these up over the 8-bit Do joypads because they look like freaking Mega Drive joypads. Next up, we have the Mega Drive itself. Now I have a Mark 1, and I think this is an early version of the Mark 1 as well because it has the polystyrene inlay rather than the card. I've also got 2 Mega Drives, and I've kind of butchered them together. So on this one, I've kept the lower half of the Mega Drive that has the external port to it that allows me to have the Mega Drive modem added to it. And I've taken the top half of, I think it's like the 3rd version of the Mega Drive where it had all the plastic bits molded. So rather than the white power bit here being silk screened onto the Mega Drive, it's actually a physical white bit, and I really like that. So I've kind of taken the top of that and married it with the bottom of the old version. So I've got kind of the best of both worlds there, but I still have both those consoles to put back together if I wanted to. Talking of the modem, here it is. Been searching this for a while, came up on eBay for an absolutely amazing price. I can't believe how cheap I managed to get this. Complete in box, almost mint. In fact, I think it's pretty much mint. It's sitting in the back of the Mega Drive here. It's not even in the box, so I have it all assembled on the Mega Drive over there. But really happy to get the modem. Doesn't do anything. I have to find someone else that has a Japanese Mega Drive, a modem, and then a copy, I think it was Cyberball, that allows you to do peer-to-peer gaming. Well, if it's that game, I need all of that and someone else, and then I could play some online Mega Drive. The Menacer! I can never get this to work, even though this is pretty much mint in the box, got everything. I just cannot get it to work. Every now and then it works. I'm like, oh yeah, it's working. Oh, why is it not working now? If anyone managed to get this peripheral working reliably at all, please let me know in the comments, because I just completely struggle with this. I think it might be because there's lots of different light sources in the room, different remote controls all over the place, and probably the receivers picking up the kind of reflective IR signals and all these different gadgets that I've got in the room. But yeah, cool to have it in the collection. Just wish I could play with it properly. And finally, the ultimate attachment for the Mega Drive, the Mega CD Mark 1. The Mega CD Mark 1 with the Mega Drive is an absolute beast of a machine. It looks the business. I love how it goes together. Love a lot of the games that came out on the Mega CD. Can't wait to start building up that collection. I think I've got about 20 games at the moment for the Mega CD, and some of those are kind of hard to get hold of, so I'm glad I kept hold of those when I was a kid. But here's my original Mega CD. God knows how I managed to keep the box in this pristine condition, but here it is. Love this console, love this attachment to the Sega Mega Drive. So that was hardware, but what about the games? Well, before we go into games, let's check out the stats for my collection. I got 380 games in the collection. That includes games across PAL territories, and I have one game for the Genesis, although over the next couple of months I'm going to pick up a lot of those Genesis exclusives, or as many as I can. I think there are 133 Genesis exclusive games that I have to pick up, and I've got about 191 or 2 games to pick up to complete the PAL collection. Now this has some variance in that number as well, so versions. So for example, the Italian, Spanish and French version of FIFA I've included in that. But I haven't included things like the Platinum and Gold collections from Australia. Now I've got 5 Australian games left to get, 10 Brazilian games and 5 EU games left to collect for this full PAL collection here. Well, hopefully full PAL collection. It's going to cost me, based on prices that I did back in July, about £13,000. I don't know what that is in dollars. That's about what, $17,000. Now only 12% of those games account for 90% of the cost. The rest of the games are all pretty achievable with under about £1,000 or £2,000. I can have most of the collection. Just that 12% accounts for the majority of that price. And to give you a sense of that 12%, I've got 5 games that are 400 plus, and I've got 5 games that are between 200 and 400 to get for the collection. Oh my god. Right, let's check out my 5 most expensive, or what I think are my 5 most expensive games in the collection. So these are what I think are my top 5 most expensive games. Now, games go up and down in price, and some of these games I bought back in the day. But let's go through these potentially top 5 expensive games in my collection. Pirates of Darkwater. A pretty hefty price tag on this, especially if you want it complete in box, which all my games are. Really happy to get hold of this. It's not in perfect condition, but then I'm not after things that are super minty. It's nice to get them when they're in mint condition, but having stuff that's been played is fine with me. So we've got Pirates of Darkwater. Next up, Lakers versus Celtics. You can look back at one of my past videos at how I managed to get hold of this. Really happy to have this in the collection. Although, to be honest, it's really just a £5 game with a multiple thousands of pounds for the cover, the inlay here, and the manual. Not necessarily worth it, but nice to have a piece of this history in the games collection. Mega Turrican, I absolutely love this game. Fantastic visuals, audio, gameplay, super amazing game. Good condition game as well for my collection. Really happy to have that in there. Something I didn't have back in the day, and I've just completely fallen in love with it. Alien Soldier. Alien Soldier is one of my all-time favorites. Now, one of the things we're not going to do in these top 5s is you won't see a crossover of games. I've tried to have unique games in each one of my top 5, but I've put this in the most expensive slot. It could quite easily also be in one of my favorite games of all time as well. Really, really cool game. This is complete in box. The cartridge is actually in the Mega Drive at the moment, so I didn't buy it without the cartridge. That's playing on the TV behind me. And lastly, a recent pickup. This is Probotector, part of the Konami series of games that came out on the Mega Drive. Super hard. I love it, but it is so hard. You've just got to play, make a little bit of progress, play, make a little bit of progress, and then eventually you start to get through the game. Really impressed with this version of it. I thought I wouldn't be, considering it doesn't carry the Contra name on it, but Konami have done a fantastic job with this. Next up, we've got Trilogies Plus. So games that had more than 3 in this series, and there were quite a few on the Mega Drive, more than I actually thought there were. Now, this is just my collection of trilogies that I currently have. There are a few games on the shelves here that have 2 but are still missing 1 to make them a full trilogy. So first up, we've got Streets of Rage. I love the Streets of Rage series. It's one of my favorites. I love beat 'em ups as a genre of games. So getting the Streets of Rage trilogy was an absolute must for me. And in fact, my Streets of Rage trilogy here is the Streets of Rage trilogy that I had when they first came out. Next up, Sonic, and there are a ton of Sonic games in there. There's 3 mainline. I don't know if you'd count Sonic 3D as part of mainline. And then obviously Knuckles is an extension of 3. And then you've got the compilation, Dr. Robotnik, and Sonic Pinball. We've got Road Rash, the 3 Road Rash games. I'm not a huge fan of Road Rash. I know there's a lot of people that absolutely love Road Rash out there. But we've got that trilogy. There's the Strike trilogy, Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, Urban Strike. Absolutely love these. Desert Strike being my favorite. I know a lot of people like Urban Strike and Jungle Strike, but just a lot of nostalgia there for Desert Strike. And there's also the Mortal Kombat series. Now, technically a trilogy, 1, 2, and 3, but obviously we got Ultimate as well there. And then we've got all of the EA games, and there are a ton of sports games that obviously had trilogies. Now, first up, we've got the FIFAs. There are a lot of FIFAs here. Now, I am 3 games short of having a full FIFA set here. There's the FIFA 98 variant that came out in Spain, Italy, and France. So we're just waiting to get those. Then we have the NHL. There's 4 in the series here. I've also got the 2 Swedish games, and I've got a big thank you coming out in our next collector's edition to one of our community members that helped me complete that set. There's the NBA series. There's 4 in there. There are some other NBA games on the EA platform, but I've kind of grouped these as a series with their white label. We have the John Madden trilogy, and then also and I'll brick this up in a minute. We've got the Madden trilogy. We'll have a look at that in a minute. We have the Versus. So this is, again, this is part of the NBA range, but I don't class it as part of the NBA series of games. This really is, for me, the Versus. So two teams on the front cover versus each other. Now we've got Lakers versus Celtics. Anyone who knows about that, kind of rare to get hold of that in the UK. Bulls versus Lakers, Bulls versus Blazers, and then Jordan versus Bird. Here's the Madden Trilogy Plus set here, so we've got 4 in that grouping. And then finally we've got PGA Tour Golf. You only really need to buy one PGA Tour and then you've played them all. I kind of find, out of all the games that I've got, I probably find the PGA Tour series the most boring. So my top 5 games that I have a huge amount of nostalgia for. So first off, we've got Decap Attack. Unbelievable game. I absolutely fell in love with this game when I first started playing it. It was kind of weird and quirky. I didn't know what to expect from it, but really enjoyed this huge amount of nostalgia for when I used to play this game. Eternal Champions. I know it's not the best, but I loved it back in the day. It was kind of a mix between Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat with its finishing moves. I've got the special edition instruction manual and the poster in this as well. This was a rental copy. I've not changed the box because I quite like the little rental on the top there. Kind of a little bit of history for the game. eSWAT. Oh my god, eSWAT is an absolutely brilliant title. I just again, another game I fell in love with playing and didn't expect to. First couple of levels I found underwhelming, but I think what blew me away as soon as you started getting your armor and all those different weapons, it kind of really changed it up and really surprised me. Golden Axe 2, another game that could quite easily be in some of my best games on the Sega Mega Drive. Love playing this, love playing it in co-op with my brothers and my friends as well. Stunning game. Love the first one as well, but number 2 is just something really special for me. A lot of fond memories playing that with friends. And then lastly, in my top 5 games that I have a huge amount of nostalgia for, Desert Strike. Another one of those games that just blew me away. The soundtrack, the gameplay. I rinsed this game. I played it so much. So many fond memories of Desert Strike. Such a brilliant game. And this is my copy that I had when I was a kid as well, as I think all of these are the original copies that I had when I was a kid. Now for the biggest sub-collection in the Mega Drive, we have the EA collection. So I've got a small collection of EA games over here, but if we zip all the way over here, we can see that the EA collection continues, and there are some brilliant games on the EA collection. Not all of them great. Things like Theme Park, General Chaos, Immortal, Rings of Power, Syndicate. Absolutely love those games. Of course, we saw Desert Strike earlier featuring in a couple of the sections. And we've got Lakers versus Celtics there. We've got the Classics collection. And then of course, all of those white label Mega Drive EA sports games. Next up, we got Classic Collections. I've only got one full Classic Collection, and that is the EA Classics Collection. In Europe, there were 2. There's the EA Classics Collection that we have here, and there's also the Sega one, which had like a brown paper style wrapping around it. Australia got a huge amount of different Classics collections. They've got Platinum, Gold, Silver, there's the double packs, and there's also like they've got their own versions for Classics that came in green. So I probably won't collect, although I'd love to collect the Australian Classics there, but I will collect the Sega Classics for Europe, and of course we've got the EA Classics here. So in the EA Classics we've got Desert Strike, General Chaos, Road Rash 2, Rolo to the Rescue, Lotus 2 Rex, Lotus Turbo Challenge, and James Pond 2. The Mega Drive has a number of sub-collections, and one of the biggest, not the biggest, but one of the biggest is the Disney sub-collection. And I think I now have a full PAL Disney sub-collection. So let's go through these games. We've got Quackshot, Ariel the Little Mermaid, possibly the worst of all of the Disney games in my opinion. The Jungle Book, World of Illusion, possibly the best Disney game, Castle of Illusion, and Fantasia. Oh my god, Fantasia. I do not like Fantasia. I love the front cover and I love the characters and the artwork's okay, but this game is not good. Tailspin and Aladdin, and again, Aladdin, well known for being one of the best Disney games to come out for the Sega Mega Drive. Disney compilation that has Quackshot and Castle of Illusion, and this, yes, this is a Disney game, Bonkers. The stunning Mickey Mania, absolutely brilliant. Some of the best visuals and some of the best visual techniques that you'll see in a Mega Drive game. And then we've got Lion King. I've got a huge amount of nostalgia for Lion King. I actually have the Genesis version that I mentioned earlier. I picked that up on my first trip to Disneyland back in the 90s. We got Pinocchio and Pocahontas. We got the awesome Donald in Maui and Mallard, and the fantastic Toy Story. So the next category, top 5 favourite games. There could quite easily be about 100 games in this category, and some of the games we've already seen in some of the other categories. But to kick this off, Streets of Rage 2. Unbelievable game. Everyone will know about Streets of Rage 2. A lot of people's favourite game on the platform, and being a beat 'em up fan, this just blew me away back in the day. And this wasn't even an arcade game. This was a game that was solely on the consoles, and it was stunning. It was better than a lot of the arcade games out at the time. Amazing visuals, amazing gameplay, stunning soundtrack. The Story of Thor, a game that I always wanted as a kid, never managed to pick it up. Picked it up last year, or maybe it was the beginning of this year actually. Unbelievable! I am absolutely blown away by how great this game is. Not just visually, and it's got some of the best graphics that I've seen on the Sega Mega Drive, especially its color palette, but just the gameplay reminds me so much of like a 16-bit Breath of the Wild. Flashback, oh my god, Flashback, I loved this game back in the day. Again, this is my original copy. Stunning, stunning, stunning game. Everything about this game was amazing. Storyline, again, was something that just resonated with me. I love sci-fi, but yeah, Flashback, one of the best games I've ever played on the Sega Mega Drive. A new game, a modern game that runs on the Mega Drive, Demons of Asterberg, just came out, what, about a month ago, 2 months ago? Again, this is a stunning game. If you've not picked this up, I definitely encourage you to go and buy this. They're not doing any kind of limited runs, they're still available to purchase. A stunning game, stunning kind of Metroidvania type game, a little light on the Metroidvania, but nonetheless absolutely brilliant. And finally, the genre-defining Dune 2. If you haven't played this and you like your RTS, you need to play this. This is where modern RTS was born. This is where Command & Conquer comes from, and in fact this is the same team that made Command & Conquer, and you'll recognize a lot of the sound effects and mechanics in Command & Conquer in this game, and that's because this is where they came from. It truly is the game that defined the RTS genre, the modern RTS genre. So next we got these cardboard box games. There are a total, I think, of 15 cardboard box games that were released in Europe. A lot of them here from Accolade, 13 I think from Accolade. There was also a cardboard Bubsy that was released in Australia, and of course we've got Sonic and Knuckles from Sega, but I've got 4 at the moment. So we've got Warp Speed here, I've got Winter Challenge, and I've also got the plastic clamshell. I think this is the only plastic, or the only game that got a plastic clamshell version. So Winter Challenge, I've got Summer Challenge, and I've got the Duel, Test Drive 2. Another sub-collection that the Mega Drive has is publishers, and one of the best and one of my favourite publishers on the Mega Drive was Konami. Now Konami didn't give a huge amount of love to the Mega Drive, but it did bring out some stunning games, and it's probably the most expensive sub-collection for publisher that you can buy for cost per game. Now I don't have the full Konami subset yet. I'm missing 4 games. I'm missing the Nigel Mansell game, I'm missing Sparkster, Castlevania and Sunset Riders. But all the others I have. So what's in the Konami sub-collection? Well, we saw this earlier. We've got Lethal Enforcers, and there's Lethal Enforcers 2 Gunfighters. 2 of my favourite games on the system, Turtles Hyperstone Heist and Zombies. Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. Turtles Tournament Fighters and Hyperdunk. Probotector and International Superstar Soccer Deluxe. And this, Tiny Toons Adventures Acme All-Stars. Another thing that I've been getting into lately is indie games. Not just indie games, but also homebrew games and ROM hacks. I think they're an awesome addition to the Sega Mega Drive catalogue and just show how this console continues to persevere and have a huge fan base. So I've got a small collection to start off with, but it is growing quite quickly. To start with, I've got Fight for Vengeance. This is published by PSCD Games, and this is actually a special edition. And it comes with a special edition box, and it's also got a special edition Russian doll set. And inside this box here is a load of Russian dolls with all of these characters inside. It's an awesome piece of presentation. I've got the rest of the PSCD library. You've got Foxyland, a really nice platform game, Alien Cat 2, great puzzle game, and Debtor, which is again another great platformer. Another limited special edition here, and we saw this earlier, Demons of Asterberg. I absolutely love this game. It is a truly AAA title for the Sega Mega Drive. Still copies out there, you can still buy it from the publisher, from the developer. This is the limited press edition, I think, and it comes with a load of cool goodies in it, but definitely worth picking up. Tanglewood. Now Tanglewood is, I think, the only indie game to be developed with original hardware, with a completely new engine that the developer built for it. A brilliant game. It's just unfortunate that game's killer mechanic comes halfway through it. Those who've played it will know what I mean. Xenocrisis! I love Xenocrisis! Anyone who watches the show regularly will know that I love to prance around in my Xenocrisis t-shirt. It's a kind of pseudo twin stick shooter, and it's just an absolutely arcade frantic, brilliant game. If you've got any chance of getting hold of this, I definitely recommend you do. And lastly, I've got Sonic the Hedgehog, The Lost Worlds, really nice kind of ROM hack, I think this one is, of Sonic 2, maybe Sonic 3, I think. But yeah, really enjoyed playing this. Current state of my Sega Mega Drive collection. I love collecting for this console. I have so much nostalgia for it, and I've spent the last 30+ years building up this collection. I'm in no hurry to get the full collection. I don't need to get it within 12 months. I really enjoy the journey of collecting, going out to different conferences or markets and meeting people and talking about the collection that I'm building and the collections and games that they're collecting for. Love going to the shops and meeting new people, and I love sharing this stuff here on the Retro Gamer Boy show with you guys and getting your opinions on the games that you loved and the memories that you had of them as well. I think it's going to take me years to finish off this collection, but for me it is all about the journey. Now, we didn't cover everything in this collection. It would take far too long and be probably far too boring to go through it all, but at some point we will. I want you guys as well to be part of collecting these games, and so after this show there'll be a poll that you can go onto on my YouTube channel and you can choose the next game that I buy. I'll put down as many options as I can in the voting poll, and then all you have to do is choose the next game that I buy, and I'll try my best to pick that game up. If you've enjoyed this show, you love your Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, or you just love retro gaming, then why not consider subscribing? You can do this by clicking on a button just below this video. We make brand new retro gaming videos every single Monday, and so that you don't miss out, you can click on a little bell also just below this video. And if you can't wait until Monday, then don't worry, we've got you covered, because we've got a huge back catalogue of retro gaming videos, 2 of which you can watch over here.